Ever found yourself pondering ethical dilemmas at cosmic stakes? Imagine doing that while aliens watch and judge. Delve into a story where witty retorts and quick thinking could be the key to humanity's survival. This isn't just another story, it's a thrilling ride through interstellar challenges, where every choice brings us closer to an unforgettable ending. You won't believe how a sarcastic mind can alter the fate of galaxies. Stay with us till the end and discover how one person's dark humor can illuminate the universe. Dr. Alyssa Beckett never imagined she'd spend her Tuesday night fighting intergalactic aliens. Yet here she was, standing on a glowing platform, surrounded by beings that looked like a hybrid between an octopus and an ancient philosopher. The Zitari, they called themselves. And their leader, Emperor Zerker, was even more intimidating up close. "So, you humans think you can solve our dilemmas? Prove it!" Zerker's voice echoed through the amphitheater. His tentacles twitched with what Alyssa assumed was amusement. Alyssa smirked, her dark humor simmering beneath the surface. "All right, Zertek," she muttered under her breath, barely audible. "Let's see what you've got." The amphitheater shone with a strange ethereal light, casting long shadows that danced like wraiths. Alyssa took in her surroundings, noticing the rows of audience members, different alien species, all gathered to watch the spectacle. The first dilemma had already flashed on the screen. Save a peaceful species known as the Quellians, who lived in harmony but were on the brink of extinction due to natural disasters. Or save the Dravox, a technologically advanced but warlike race poised to conquer their neighboring planets. Zerker leaned in, his eyes narrowing. "What's it going to be, human? The innocent or the powerful?" Alyssa took a moment, pretending to think deeply. Internally, she groaned. Classic trolley problem, but in space and with real lives at stake. She looked at the screen, her mind racing. "The Quellians," she declared. "Every time." Gasps echoed through the amphitheater. Alyssa continued, seeing their reaction. "The Dravox may be powerful now, but their aggression will lead to their downfall eventually. The Quellians, however, can thrive and contribute positively to the universe if given the chance." Zerker's eyes flared with interest. "Interesting choice. But are you aware that by saving the Quellians, you might doom countless other species to fall to the Dravox?" Alyssa's smile widened, dark humor sparkling in her eyes. "Oh, I'm banking on it. If the Dravox are as aggressive as you say, they'll crumble under their own hubris. Meanwhile, the Quellians will be free to innovate, and who knows, maybe they'll develop their own defenses. But hey, what's life without a little chaos?" The audience murmured among themselves, clearly intrigued. Zerker seemed to ponder her answer, his tentacles still for once. "You speak with certainty, but carry a reckless bravado." Alyssa's internal dialogue echoed with irony. If only they knew how much the fate of civilizations felt like a twisted parody of reality TV back home. She folded her arms and met Zerker's gaze directly, unwilling to show any fear or doubt. "Next," Zerker announced, and another dilemma flashed on the screen. This time it dealt with limited resources. A planet with scant water supplies to be allocated either to a burgeoning civilization or used as a trade commodity with resource-rich yet morally bankrupt traders. Alyssa thought about the countless disputes she'd read about back on Earth. The scarcity wars. How similar it all seemed, despite the different settings. Her mind raced through historical records, ethics theories, and that nagging voice of pessimism. "Allocate it to the new civilization," Alyssa said firmly. "Trade with corrupt entities only strengthens them. New civilizations need a chance to build, to become self-sufficient. Let's nurture potential rather than perpetuating corruption." Zerker raised a tentacle, signaling for silence. "Your answers fascinate." Alyssa met his eyes, her own filled with a mixture of challenge and mirth. "You wanted a show. I'm just playing my part." Yet inside, Alyssa felt a tension she couldn't easily shake. These weren't just theoretical debates. Real lives hung in the balance. And despite her dark humor, she knew the stakes. Each decision had a ripple effect, unseen but potent. The amphitheater seemed to pulse with the energy of anticipation. Alyssa felt the pressure, but also the thrill. This was more than an ethical maze. It was a battle of wits, a test of resilience. And in that moment, as Zerker readied the next challenge, she felt ready. "Bring it on, Zitari. Humanity's got a few surprises up its sleeve." Alyssa woke up in the alien quarters, a cold metallic room with an eerie blue glow emanating from the walls. The bed, if it could be called that, was a slab of some sort of gelatinous material that adjusted to her body's every move. She couldn't decide if it was comfortable or creepy. "Morning, Zyrtec," she muttered to herself, already missing her own bed. Stretching, she noticed a small device on the table, flashing a message. With a sigh, she activated it. "Xkara requests your presence in the strategy chamber," a robotic voice announced. Alyssa rolled her eyes but felt a twinge of curiosity. Xkara was one of the few Z'Atari who seemed to enjoy their bizarre moral plays. Perhaps there'd be some insight to gain. She walked down the gleaming corridors, trying to ignore the unsettlingly clean, sterile environment. Entering the strategy chamber, she was met with Xkara's familiar, quizzical gaze. "You humans are fascinating," Xkara began, voice tinged with genuine interest. "Glad to hear we're keeping you entertained," Alyssa replied dryly, folding her arms. "What's the dilemma du jour?" Xkara gestured to a holographic display. Multiple scenarios blinked into view, each more complex than the last. "Resource allocation in post-collapse societies. Your thoughts?" Alyssa inspected the moving images, her mind racing through potential solutions. The Z'Atari, while outwardly calm and philosophical, had a certain arrogance. They assumed humans couldn't grasp the nuances of these dilemmas. "They underestimate us," Alyssa thought. "Your scenarios assume static outcomes," she said aloud, her voice steady. "But human history shows resilience and adaptation. We need to consider dynamic solutions." Xkara's tentacles twitched. "Expand on that, human," Alyssa smirked. "All right, post-collapse worlds aren't just victims, they're survivors. Invest in their innovation. Provide initial resources but also knowledge and technology to help them rebuild sustainably. Enable them to solve their own problems." Xkara leaned closer, intrigued. "Interesting, but risky. What if they misuse the knowledge?" "They might," Alyssa conceded. "But we don't grow by playing it safe. Calculated risks are necessary for progress. Besides, every species deserves a shot at redemption, even if they were the architects of their downfall." The chamber fell silent, the only sound the hum of the technological marvels surrounding them. Alyssa could almost hear the gears turning in Xkara's mind. "You speak with conviction, Dr. Beckett," Xkara finally said, almost grudgingly respectful. "Your insights challenge the conventional wisdom of my people." Alyssa allowed herself a small moment of internal triumph. "Glad to be of service, but I'm more interested in why you care so much about our answers. What's your stake in all this?" Xkara offered no immediate reply, merely studying her with those unsettling eyes. Just as Alyssa began to think she'd overstepped, the alien spoke again, quieter this time. "Our species, we too are observed, judged." Alyssa's eyebrows shot up. That was unexpected. The Z'Atari weren't the top dogs. There were bigger fish in this cosmic pond. Her mind whirred with possibilities. "Who watches the Watchers?" she asked, trying to keep her tone casual. "You'll know in time, human," Xkara replied cryptically, then with a hint of a challenge. "For now, let's see how you handle today's main event. It's about to begin." Alyssa followed Xkara to the amphitheater, eagerness building within her despite the stakes. The crowd murmured as they entered, and she could feel the anticipation crackling in the air. Emperor Zerker was already waiting, his visage as inscrutable as ever. "Today's challenge," he announced, "concerns a planet with a dying ecosystem. A corporation offers to terraform it, but at the cost of displacing the native sentient species. Save the ecosystem or the inhabitants?" Internally, Alyssa groaned. Another layer of the trolley problem. Externally, she grinned. "Why not both?" she suggested, enjoying the shocked murmurs. Zerker's eyes narrowed. "Explain, human." Alyssa's smile turned into a grin. "Allow the corporation, but under strict oversight. Make sure their technology and methods are sustainable and that the inhabitants are integrated into the new ecosystem. It's not easy, but life rarely is." Zerker studied her, clearly weighing her words. The tension in the amphitheater grew thicker, every eye on her. "Your solution is acceptable," Zerker finally declared. As Alyssa basked in the moment, She silently acknowledged the growing complexity of the game. The Za'atari were paying attention, and so was she. She had just turned another corner in this intricate maze, and the stakes were only getting higher. This was more than a game. It was a test of something deeper, something crucial. And Alyssa Beckett was just getting started. Alyssa walked the hallways of the Za'atari vessel, her mind bubbling with strategies. The previous challenges had given her a deeper understanding of the intricate game she was a part of. Each choice peeled back a layer of the Za'atari psyche, revealing their flawed belief in the predictability of morality. As she entered the amphitheater for the day's challenge, the air was thicker with tension. Aliens from countless species shifted in their seats, their eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and expectancy. Alyssa scanned the crowd, her gaze finally settling on Sakara, who gave her an almost imperceptible nod. Emperor Zerker stood at the center, his tentacles coiled like springs. Today's dilemma, he announced grandly, is a matter of survival. Two colony ships are adrift in space. One carries a species facing extinction, the other a species at war with itself, but with great potential for peace if given a chance to start anew on a habitable planet. You can save only one. Alyssa stifled a laugh. These guys sure knew how to pick their poison. She stepped forward, letting the anticipation build. Okay, let's break this down, she began, her tone thoughtful. Internally, she mused, they really think they've got me cornered with these binary choices. Saving the extinct species is the obvious moral high ground, she said aloud. But let's take a closer look at the warring species. They're at war, yes, but that indicates a capacity for change, evolution. War often precedes peace. We can provide them with resources and guidance to stabilize. A ripple of surprise moved through the crowd. Zerker's eyes narrowed, waiting for her to continue. But, Alyssa added with a grin, we don't just abandon the other ship. We set up automated life support drones, buying them time until we find another way. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Moral dilemmas aren't about neat solutions. They're about doing the best we can with what we have. Zerker's malevolent gaze drilled into her. You think you can have it both ways? The universe is not so forgiving. Alyssa kept her stance confident. The universe might not be, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. Isn't that the ultimate moral endeavor? To strive, even when the odds are against us? The amphitheater fell silent. Kazkara's tentacles fluttered, a sign Alyssa had learned to associate with intrigue. Zerker seemed to calculate her words, weighing their value against his expectations. Your solution is noted, he finally said, voice dripping with reluctance. But let's add another layer. An unknown third species will be affected by your decision, emerging as allies to one ship and enemies to the other. How does that change your choice? Alyssa's mind raced, a hidden factor. This was new, and it added a chaotic variable. She relished the challenge. This hypothetical third species, she ventured, how do they interact with both ships? Their culture is rigid, strict in its codes of honor and conflict, Zerker replied. Their alignment will tip the balance of power. Alyssa's grin broadened. Then I choose the species with potential for peace. A strict, honor-based society might provide the structure they need to thrive. On the flip side, the extinct species, given proper tech, can be shielded. It's still shaky, but better than letting either ship perish outright. A collective murmur went through the crowd. Alyssa felt a surge of triumph. She wasn't merely surviving these tests. She was flipping the script. Kazkara approached her post-challenge. Your adaptability is impressive, Dr. Beckett. You apply human flexibility to solve what we consider rigid. It's not flexibility, Kazkara. It's survival. The universe throws curveballs and we swing back. Simple as that, Alyssa quipped, eyes twinkling with defiance. As she exited to the cool, sterile halls, her mind buzzed with possibilities. These dilemmas were more than tests. They were openings to break the Za'atari's hold, to find the truth behind their games. Her dark humor remained a shield, but beneath it, Alyssa felt a budding hope. They weren't just playing by the Zatari's rules anymore. They were rewriting them. And as long as she had breath in her body, she'd keep swinging back. The amphitheater had never been so silent. Alyssa could feel the eyes of countless aliens on her as she marched to the center. The familiar hum of the technological marvels around her, giving way to the cold, hard reality of the latest dilemma. Today felt different, heavier. She knew something big was coming. Emperor Zerker stood, poised like a coiled serpent. Today's challenge, he began, his voice a thunderclap in the silence, concerns the fate of your home planet Earth. The words hung in the air like an executioner's axe. Alyssa's heart pounded. Her humor felt like a shield too thin for the occasion, but she donned it anyway. Go on, Zertek. Let's see how you plan to spice up my Tuesday. A hologram flickered to life, showing Earth in all its blue-green beauty. An asteroid approaches your planet, Zerker stated. Your only chance to avoid extinction is to redirect it. But doing so will send it toward another inhabited world, equally deserving of life. Alyssa's stomach churned. The stakes were real. Yet here she was, trying to think through the fog of fear. Classic big rock problem, she murmured to herself. She felt the weight of every eye, every breath waiting for her next move. Here's the deal, she said, voice steadier than she felt. We find a way to break the asteroid, spread the damage, mitigate the impact, buy time for both worlds to evacuate and adapt. Zerker's tentacles twitched, signifying doubt. Your optimism is astounding, human, but such precision requires resources and time you don't have. Then we improvise, Alyssa shot back. Humanity has a knack for that. We think outside the box, push boundaries. Maybe this asteroid is too big to nudge aside, but can we chip away at it? Turn it into smaller, more manageable pieces? The murmurs among the audience grew, a mix of skepticism and reluctant admiration. Kaskara, hovering nearby, seemed particularly engaged. Their usual alien poise was momentarily disrupted by a flicker of what Alyssa sensed was concern. It's not just about the asteroid, Kaskara interjected softly. It's about the potential alliances and enmities your decision will create. Think broader. Alyssa nodded, her mind racing. The ripple effects. She thought of Earth's tumultuous history, the endless cycles of conflict and cooperation. If her world was part of a larger cosmic dance, then every move mattered on a colossal scale. We'll open channels, she said, louder now, projecting confidence. Communicate with the other world. Offer alliance and shared resources. We don't just survive this. We come out stronger, together. Our fates intertwine, for better or worse. Emperor Zerker's gaze was piercing, as if trying to divine whether her resolve was iron or glass. Bold words, but can you back them with actions? Alyssa felt the electric charge of determination. Watch me. The challenge intensified. A countdown began. Holograms exploded with data, and the amphitheater buzzed with frenetic energy. Alyssa worked alongside a holographic interface, her fingers flying over alien symbols as she directed hypothetical rescue operations and strategic interventions. Simultaneously, her mind clashed with the Zatari logic, cold, calculated, unyielding. Yet she pushed back with human ingenuity, erratic and brilliant. Balance, risk, and reward, she reminded herself, but always lean towards hope. Skar shadowed her, offering subtle guidance, their actions bordering on insurgency within the Zatari ranks. Strange allies, Alyssa thought. Yet this alliance seemed to hold the key to transcending individual dilemmas and reaching something greater. As the countdown approached zero, the simulated results flashed on the hologram. Substantial survival for both worlds. The damage was mitigated, not eliminated, but hope lingered in the aftermath, like a flickering flame in a vast dark cave. The amphitheater erupted in a mix of shock and reluctant applause. Alyssa stood tall, the adrenaline making her feel higher than any mountain. She met Zerker's skeptical gaze head on. You wanted proof? Here it is. Humanity's resilience isn't just myth, it's our ethos. Zerker's expression was inscrutable, but there was a grudging respect in his tone. A commendable effort, human, but remember, every solution births new challenges. Alyssa allowed herself a moment to catch her breath, then gave a small, defiant smile. Good. We're at our best when we face the impossible. Exiting the amphitheater, Alyssa felt the magnitude of what lay ahead. This battle of wits was far from over, but she was ready. Her dark humor and heroic defiance were not just shields. They were weapons, honed for the trials to come. And in the labyrinth of cosmic dilemmas, Alyssa Beckett was carving a path with every choice, one hard-earned victory at a time. Alyssa stood in the corridor, staring at the faint reflection of her own face against the polished steel walls. The stakes had escalated beyond anything she'd imagined. The Zitari weren't just testing humanity. They were testing her. She felt the weight of every decision, every life she tried to balance. The cool, sterile air of the ship wasn't comforting anymore. It felt heavy, oppressive. She turned a corner and entered the strategy chamber, which had become almost a second home in this bizarre place. Sakara was already there, their eyes betraying a new kind of intensity. Today's final challenge will be broadcast across the galaxy. Sakara informed her, the usual composure tinged with unease. Alyssa raised an eyebrow. An audience. Just what I needed. No pressure, right, Sakara? Sakara's tentacles twitched. This is more than a game. The future of multiple species hinges on this decision. Just another Tuesday, she muttered to herself, heading to the amphitheater. But inside, the pressure gnawed at her. This wasn't just about proving humanity's worth anymore. It had become something profoundly personal. The amphitheater hummed with an energy she hadn't felt before. Beside the usual crowd, holograms flickered, projecting the proceedings to distant worlds. Emperor Zerker stood at the center, his demeanor grim. Today's challenge, he began, is to decide the fate of an entire star system. Two species are locked in a deadly conflict. Your choice will determine which survives and establishes dominion over this region of space. The holographic display flickered to life, showing two planets, one teeming with life and promise, the other a barren, war-torn landscape on the verge of collapse. Alyssa's heart sank. This was it, the ultimate test. She took a deep breath, forcing her voice to sound steady. So save one and doom the other? That's the game? Zerker's eyes bore into hers. Precisely. And the repercussions will echo through the galaxy. Alyssa's mind world. It was a classic Zitari situation. Maximize tragedy, minimize hope. But humans were good at flipping scripts. Let's redefine the rules, she thought. Why does it always come down to destruction? She said aloud, voice carrying through the amphitheater. Here's a counter-proposal, mediation. Both species are given resources and impartial arbitrators to forge a peace. They settle on neutral territory to rebuild together. Zerker's expression was icy, idealistic, and impractical. The galaxy does not pause for negotiations. Maybe so, Alyssa replied, a fiery determination taking hold. But survival isn't about choosing who gets to live. It's about finding ways to coexist. Mutual destruction isn't an option. Sakara moved closer, their eyes locking onto hers. Your optimism is naive, but intriguing. Look, Alyssa continued, we're talking about sentient beings capable of change. We provide the framework, the platform for dialogue, and yes, it's risky. But the alternative is genocide. And that's a line humanity won't cross. A hushed silence fell over the amphitheater, the weight of her words settling in. She felt the doubt, the fear, and the hope whispering through the audience, a mix of shadows and light. Zerker was unyielding. And if they fail, if peace proves impossible, then we adapt and find another way, Alyssa shot back. Humans build from the ruins. We don't give up because the path is hard. The amphitheater buzzed with a tension so thick it was almost tangible. Then slowly, cautiously, Sakara spoke. Perhaps it's time the Zitari adapted as well. We've basked in our moral superiority long enough. Let us see if hope can be a strategy. Emperor Zerker's expression was unreadable, and Alyssa waited, her heart beat a drum in her ears. Finally, Zerker nodded, a slow, reluctant acknowledgement. Let it be so. Mediation will commence, he declared. Your choices have shaped a new path, human. But remember, the hard work begins now. As the amphitheater erupted in a mix of emotion, Alyssa felt a strange, profound relief. She had done it. She had proven not just humanity's worth, but the power of hope in the darkest corners of the universe. Walking back down the sterile corridors, Alyssa allowed herself to smile. The real challenge lay ahead, but she was ready. With one last glance at the curious, mysterious Kakarum, she whispered to herself, "We're just getting started." In the labyrinth of cosmic dilemmas, Alyssa Beckett had not just found a way to win. She had found a way to change the game itself, for now and for the future.